and to provide in-depth analysis of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, highlighting its key provisions and developments following the Senate's approval of electronic transmission of election results, amongst other related issues, is Lanre Arogundade. He is the Executive Director, International Press Center. He joins me now from our Lagos studios. Hello, Lanre. Nice to have you on Newsnight. Now, when you look at the brouhaha, the protests, the mass protests that, engendered the reconsidered legislative opinion of the Senate, how would you describe today's outcome of the proceedings, allowing in the right hand the transmission of results, and on the left hand saying that the manual transmission of results can also take place during elections? What are your thoughts along the considered opinion of the legislators?
Well, you said on the right hand, and I would say that that is like a step forward. But the left hand, which you mentioned, is like taking another step sideways or maybe backward. And I guess why we're having this discussion is essentially to enlighten ourselves. And I hope that even some of the senators who may be listening to us would also take this as part of a period of reflection on what they have done. Before we talk about the present, let us quickly examine where we're coming from. We're coming from the joining of the Electoral Act 2022, which in Section 60, subsection 5, said that the presiding officer, that is after the voting, shall transfer the results, including the total number of accredited voters and the results of the ballot, in a manner as prescribed by the Commission. Now, what this does is to give INEC the prerogative to determine the means of that transmission. But because in the last election in 2023, INEC under Mahmoud, as part of his meticulous planning, introduced the IREV, and then also as part of his regulations, enabled results to be transferred from BVAS to IREV, we then said, let us then have this as part of our law, which will be a step forward. And that is where the element of electronic transmission of results comes in. And if you look at that election, it is true that we talk about a glitch, but the reality also is that the transmission to IREV did not have any problem in all the elections. As a matter of fact, even in the presidential election, the only problem was with the presidential election, or the glitch, the House of Reps, the Senate, and this is how some of these senators were elected. All of them, got elected because of the benefits of that, process. So in a sense, we cannot say that electronic transmission was a failure. And in that regard, it will be wrong for us now to begin to impute or anticipate failure in the law that we are trying, to introduce. I think the standard everywhere is to look for the pass mark, for the benchmark, and not to look, for failure. So in that regard, our position is that the Senate should have adopted that of the House of Representatives, in the sense that we can still have, this electronic transmission of results.
You've background the, Section 60 of the Electoral Act very copiously. Yeah. Yes. What is germane here that people are asking about this new passage before the two chambers are going to meet to harmonize the bill before transmitting it to the president, is that this, in practical terms, how significant is this development for the electoral transparency and credibility of elections and Nigeria's democracy?
It is It is very, very significant in the sense that if the idea of real-time electronic transmission is accepted, it gives us two means of verification. The one is the result that has been transmitted electronically, and then the other one at the collation. And if you look at the wording, and I give you, and let me just read it out to you, what is being proposed by civil society organizations. And the amendment is that the designated election official shall electronically transmit all election results in real time, including the number of accredited voters, directly from the polling units and collation centers to a public portal. In other words, you have two sets of electronic transmitted results coming in, and it's very easy to check if there are any discrepancies. And we say that that transmitted result shall be used to verify any other result before it is collated. So I guess we just need a whole lot of understanding here, because when politicians come in, and they can easily cause a lot of distraction, and diversion. And that's why I said this is a time for us to properly enlighten ourselves by looking at what we are proposing and what has happened before. So now we're saying, let there be a legal backing, because if you don't have it as part of the electoral law, if INEC decides not to electronically transmit or use BVAS, we're going to have a problem.
It's all right.
Nigeria, let me just make this point, that we've advanced so technologically that I believe there can be improvement on BVAS to do what we are proposing.
All right, very well said. Let's look beyond electronic transmission of results in the Electoral Act bill that is being amended. There are quite a number of lacunas there, other key provisions in the amendment bill that Nigerians should pay attention to and are not paying close attention to. And how might they really reshape Nigeria's elections and our democracy in 2027?
Okay, well, we have a few others. One of them is also the whole idea that where you have problems with election, that's we're talking about verification now, because the Electoral Act 2022 allows for INEC to have a verification within a stipulated period before results are announced. And the proposal from the proposal that we have is that request for a review of results should not be left at the behest of INEC, because what the Senate is saying is that it should be at the INEC that will decide whether it is necessary, whether or not it is necessary to have a review. But then we have political parties. Parties are the ones that sponsor candidates. Candidates have agents. And we are saying that under the law, the political parties, or in particular the candidates and their agents, should be in a position to call for a review where they suspect that there have been some problem. For example, we're talking about transmission. Perhaps you have discrepancies between what the party agents signed. They see some marks on it. This was part of the problem with what was uploaded on IREF the other time. Some results were cancelled. There were all kinds of things. So it should be possible for a political party to say, we want a review. And we think that if that is allowed, it may even minimize litigations that normally follow elections, in the sense that INEC will have been in a position to demonstratively satisfy the political parties that is well. So that is also a contentious issue. But I must also mention this.
Larry, I'm so sorry.
It's not as if...
Larry, I'm awfully very sorry to cut in here. We don't have enough time, and I'm sure there's so much for you to really expatiate on, and we'll have other programs that you can come and, give your opinion on how Nigeria's electoral system can be better for the people.